Yeah. So, the Hurt Business. The Hurt Business began as a dream. A dream to mostly be a filler act by Vince. So, yeah. Back in. So, the Hurt Business. Let's be real when it comes to the Hurt Business. It was not supposed to be this big. It was not supposed to be this big deal to people. It was supposed to be like at best they were gonna go ahead and just be a Bobby Lashley and MVP kind of pairing, and then it grew and grew and grew, and then all of a sudden it was on fire. And heading into Backlash, it was an awesome match, and they would go ahead and finally end the Lana Lashley relationship because that was a terrible thing. Plus, Rusev was gone, so there was nothing left to do. Oh, and he would then ask for divorce, and they never followed that. They never followed through with that, so thank God for that. And leading to a Apollo Crews storyline where after he had turned down MVP's offer to join them, and like the Hurt Business was what was essentially the Nation of Domination, but more corporate style and more awesome in some aspects. Like it didn't have The Rock involved, so clearly that failed. Um, but yeah, they have had issues. They lost the tag team gold. Well, not really gold, as you can see. It's clearly quarters. And they had won the WWE Championship after they had lost the US title. MVP was still the leader of the group, wielding a cane, which makes him more mafia boss style. And yeah, after this whole thing, after they had added Shelton Benjamin to the group, they declared that they were the Hurt Business and they were going to bring the pain to people as part of their business. And I was not around for the whole thing. I had heard about it. I thought, well, you got the 24/7 belt involved, so that clearly makes me not interested. 3 times. But then, and then you gotta remember, they were also competing dominantly with Retribution, and they were basically having to fight for real estate, essentially. So, yeah. And they won some awards. CBS Sports and Pro Wrestling Illustrated gave MVP Comeback of the Year, though really it should have just been the whole group because Shelton Benjamin and Cedric, what were they doing at the time in 2020? Bobby Lashley was in a terrible storyline with Lana and just ended it and was finally ending it. And MVP was just doing MVP things. He was really good to manage that tag team. I don't recall. Then that fell apart. In fact, one of them went to join Retribution. That was a perfect success. And now that the whole storyline was like, okay, the Retribution stuff, it's over and done with. We can make the Hurt Business the most dominant force in WWE. And right before we could get this high point with Lashley as champion, with Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander as quarter champions, they killed the group. They killed the group. They killed the group. It wasn't doing so well initially back in 2020. It was having to compete with Retribution. That part I get. But then it was starting to really get in strides, especially when MVP's self-fulfilling prophecy about how when Drew McIntyre loses the belt, I will personally play a role in that affair. Where he finally fulfilled that affair a year later, but it still happened, so we can give him props for that. I'm pretty sure that they completely forgot about that angle, so yeah, okay. So they finally decide to follow suit with Bobby Lashley win the title of MVP from The Miz. And now it's like, okay, since Wyatt just recently came back and is, well, they haven't decreed a Firefly Funhouse yet, you would think, okay, well, the Hurt Business should be the next big pillar for Monday Night Raw. It especially needs it, and they took it out. And not everyone loved it. Batista hated it. The Busted Open Radio hated it. Bully Ray hated it. And reportedly, Bobby Lashley and MVP met Vince McMahon afterwards and were pissed about it. They were against it. Cedric and Shelton Benjamin were no doubt against it. And even Cedric admitted in interviews beforehand that the Hurt business really helped his career because he was in the stagnation status. And people wanted to have the groups like Ricochet involved and everything to give them a rejuvenation, because really everyone in this group were made up of people who weren't really doing anything or just really doing crappy things. And then finally MVP comes in and douses them with his presence, and they're back on top of the world. And this was reportedly said to be a blow to morale, especially since this is less than a week before Mania. They break up the group. I'm pretty sure they're not going to fall through, and reportedly Cedric and Shelton are back where they are. We're back where they started before the whole group, making this whole thing pointless. Because this is once again another problem with the WWE, and why I've basically lost interest in even emotionally investing myself with anything these days. Like even Wyatt, like as much as I still think Wyatt and Roman are carrying everything on their own because they don't get it, because everything Roman does is clearly Roman and Paul Heyman just doing everything they want, and Bray Wyatt was allowed to do his own thing, but then they try to keep him off the shelf for a while and burn him alive, even when people were saying, hey, can you put this guy back on TV? We kind of miss him. And Alexa Bliss was trying to carry it, but all due respect for that, but it's like, it's kind of hard to do that, especially since so much of the Fiend was tied into it, and they try to make it down, try to water it down. And last but not least, that was it. That they have Drew McIntyre is now in this position, and then they don't have a proper way to fill that void. Instead, they go ahead and have Baron Corbin go ahead and affiliate with Bobby Lashley and MVP. Continuity wise, it makes sense because they have a history, but no one liked it. No one liked Baron Corbin going ahead and doing this again. Like, we were all ready to move on from Baron Corbin. Even though he's a SmackDown guy, at least they say that, oh, we have the brand band invitation thing, even though we don't really want to do it. So, this is the thing. Once again, WWE is looking at their business, okay? They're doing pretty well. They're making a lot of money at the merch. They weren't what I wanted, so I'm killing it. That is essentially where we're at. It's Rusev Day all over again. It got over, not Vince's wish. Therefore, it's the enemy of state. It's like a TV show where they have these cast of characters, and there's this character on the side that originally is designed not to really care about. People don't really care about it. They're just there doing their own thing. It's part of a minor plot, but then it's dark, and then people are like, I actually like that character. Can we see more of that character a little bit? And then the network hears that people want to see more of this character. The creative team is hearing about it, and they're like, and if Vince was running a show like that, he would say, no, we gotta kill that character off, or just get him out of the show, or fire the actor for doing a good job. Instead of, let's expand his role, give him more to do. It's once again this problem WWE has. If it's not Vince's way, it has to die. If Vince goes ahead and is building this up, it has to die in his world. Like, and this isn't even if Vince, because Vince, this is like Bad News Barry even. Even if you went with the whole, well, what if Vince did create her business? He would have killed it anyways. It was getting over. That's a problem for Vince. Bad News Barry had the same issue. He was a Vince McMahon product. He goes ahead and confesses while working, saying, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. was destroyed by Vince because he said people cheer to that. We can't have that. And it's like, so if someone gets over because of Vince, they're wrong. If someone gets over without Vince, they're still wrong. And it's again this disease that Vince. I'm gonna be real. Vince is not a creative guy anymore. Anything he touches, if it turns to gold, he'll hate it because he wants it. It's his vision. He doesn't want to share with people. And I said this for numerous times. It probably would have been best. Like, I know Vince said that he doesn't want to leave the WWE. He will die on the chair. Okay. Then don't be the creative team. Let someone else run the writing stuff. Let someone else run the shows. You just go out and do the business dealings with the networks, with the contracts. That's all you could do. You don't have to get actively involved in writing the show. You don't need to go ahead and be at the show every single second and then throw a hissy fit when things don't go the way you want it. Or if it goes the way you want it, you'll kill it anyways. And I feel like Her Business is a mix of the two things. They were a Vince McMahon product. It was like, well, I got nothing to do with these people, and Rusev's gone, so we might as well just punish Lana, and that's not fun, and that's funny because horrendously treating her like garbage because I hate Rusev. Yeah, I'm still thinking that's the reason why they have bullied her into submission in the WWE for an extended period, because that makes sense. And yet they'll spend millions of dollars saying, why are we not getting as much viewership? Because we pissed everyone off. I'm like, there's a ton of other reasons, like streaming, modern technology, yet network and suits are too busy being stubborn about it. The internet, and people who make opinions about it and get traction going on why this is stupid, and people start following through with that. And yeah, like, did we really need the New Day to win another run with the tag team quarters? Like, it was fine with the Hurt Business doing stuff, and there was another reported reason. I don't know if this is confirmed or not. This is rumors at the very least. That the reason they broke up the Hurt Business was not just because Vince hates anything organic. It's because of Drew. They are now looking at Drew McIntyre like Vince looks at Roman back in 2015. We're really going back there. Vince is trying to put Drew McIntyre in a Roman Reigns position where it must revolve around him. It can't revolve around stuff. It can't share with this stuff. So we're going to burn it all to the ground. And the reason they called in Baron Corbin was because those two are popular. MVP and Bobby Lashley, they're doing good. So let's ruin it by getting the guy who everyone hates, or at least the vast majority hates. And once again, this is a problem. WWE doesn't want to just. You want to know what they could have just done? Because they're so desperate to get Drew McIntyre cheered when the crowds return, even though they kind of were just doing all right. They could just, here's an idea, just have them both be faces. Just turn Hurt Business face. You could, but that would have required you to fix Retribution and really build them up as a heel group. But you didn't, or make the Fiend more powerful. You could have done that. You just have Bobby Lashley and Drew just have a standard face versus face match. And yeah, I know people have complained about the whole face versus face dynamic because it's the heel versus heel dynamic. It doesn't work for fans. They're used to the good guy versus bad guy. But then people will bring up, well, the Shield and Why were heels. Why can't we do that? Have both go at it and let the crowds decide who they want to cheer for. We could have gotten, let's go Lashley McIntyre, let's go Lashley McIntyre, and just have it just be a great match with a great story of history. Just turn them tweens at best, and There you go. But WWE doesn't want to do that because then they would have to choose, and then they would have to go ahead and go against their system, their own plan. And because it goes against what they want on TV, it goes against what Vince wants on TV. And it just reminds me why it just is not fun. Like, and even then, it's amazing that it even had two factions running around at that time because WWE documentaries, they have been explicit in admitting Vince never liked factions. He never did. The only reason he did factions was because WCW was kicking their butts. And yeah, any faction that got over, I was like, when I was hearing that they were getting popular, that fans were loving it, I was like, I wonder how long before they ruin it. I guarantee you, during this build up to WrestleMania, I thought to myself, they were gonna ruin the group because it was getting over. Because he went against the McMahon plan. It went against the agenda Vince wanted. And that agenda was, we gotta get McIntyre to be the good guy here. Her business are a bunch of evil people, but fans are loving it. And yeah, and even then, they're failing miserably at trying to make Drew McIntyre face because even the match graphic card, like, they have Drew McIntyre just like, and I'm like, you're trying to build a match for two Titans. It's not helping that you have Corbin involved, but now you're making Drew McIntyre just a parody of himself. But, and I'm like, is this Vince's whole America F yeah mentality where he thinks that all foreign people are either morons or hate America's guts? I'm like, Rhea Ripley, like, she does this in the match graphic with Asuka, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I know I don't watch WWE all that much. Like, I watch it on Twitter, I see the response, but no one ever brought up, hey, remember that time Rhea Ripley was being a cartoon character and a prankster kid? Wait, that never happened. It's just WWE, this Hurt Business disbandment, as much as they're saying they're open to new members, let's be real, they're not going to bring in Keith Lee, he's hurt. And even if they did, they'll probably ruin it because it goes against what Vince wants. It's just, this is a symptom of a much bigger disease. Vince's agenda. Vince hates this. Vince hates that. If Vince creates it, he'll find a way to hate it in the end because that means he has to share with people. And it's already bad enough that WWE has a restrictive environment from what I've seen about how they don't want you to say this, they don't want you to say that, they don't want you to say this, on top of all the network rating restrictions they have to deal with. Like, at least the network rating restrictions, everyone's just kind of accepts, like, that's the network's decision, the parental guidance system and whatnot. But WWE's saying, oh, you can't express freedom, you can't express anything that makes you over with the fans. And WWE, once again, also proves why they can't make a great face anymore. Because, oh, well, it worked for Cena, the whole Superman gimmick, even though that only happened later in his career as the top face. When people want more of the old style face, where they want Stone Cold to come in and start whipping people's asses, why can't you have that with Ripley? Oh, wait, because she has tattoos, probably. That's another thing I don't get. Like, if you have too many tattoos, you're ugly in Vince's world. But if you're Randy Orton and you have tattoos, you're certainly a badass. It's just this blow my mind kind of idea, both probably literally. So yeah, the Hurt Business disbandment. Like I said, I was barely watching WWE, but I had kept track of what was going on, and it did look like the Hurt Business was on fire. Then they dropped the tag titles to the New Day out of nowhere, and then subsequently got screwed over big time. And now, once again, the Hurt Business disbands. Fans are mad, wrestlers are mad, critics are mad, wondering why are you killing this again. And I'm just thinking to myself, because it's not Vince's vision. If it doesn't go this way, it must be destroyed. We must burn it all to the ground because we can't share it anymore because Vince is the audience of one. If you are even a Vince creation and if you get popular, oh, he'll shut it down either way because, hey, you're being liked by other people. I'm the only one that's supposed to like you. If people like you, that means I have to adapt. But that would mean I have to try. And there we have it. Yeah, I know I probably just babbled on and on about this, but it's just the Hurt Business disbanding is just once again reminding me why WWE has developed such a divide with fans these days. Yeah, they're the top rated programming, but that's partially because of nostalgia's sake and people still hoping WWE gets better, but let's be real, even like WWE's probably not gonna get better. Like I said, I'm not wishing for Vince to die or anything. I'm not that sick in the head fanatic, or tribalist. I just think if Vince just did what was right for once and just stepped away from the creative room, just moved on and just focused more on corporate dealings and everything, I think we would have won in the end, but we're probably not going to. So yeah, this was Neo Reality Entertainment, the WrestleVerse. The Hurt Business disbands, and there's a much bigger problem here. And feel free to like, comment, subscribe, check out my content in the description below. See y'all next time, and stay tuned for more. Peace and take care.